Acting Governor of Ondo State, Nigeria's southwest, Aiyedatiwa, has returned to the state 2 days after meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. He had met the Nigerian leader and some other stakeholders over the political logjam in Ondo State. Aiyedatiwa, who landed at the Akure Airport in the commercial airline, was received by the Director of Corporate Affairs, Niger Delta Development Commission, Ifedayo Abegunde. He arrived in the state shortly after the state legislature confirmed the receipt of a letter from Governor Rotimi Akeredolu transmitting power to him. In the letter, Akeredolu also announced he will be embarking on a medical leave. To discuss this, I'm being joined by Taiwo Ojomo, legal practitioner and political analyst. And of course, he joins me from Akure in Ondo State. Taiwo, it's nice to have you around.
Yes, likewise.
So looking at what has finally transpired in Ondo State with the conferment of legitimacy in terms of governing of a state to Aiyedatiwa, a transmission from Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Do you think it's something that should have happened way before now, looking at the political logjam that transpired and what obtains now? What were your expectations looking at what we finally have in place?
All right, thank you very much. Before I proceed, let me quickly once again here wish Mr. Governor Akure Rotimi a very quick recovery. In fairness to the man, he was doing well as a governor, especially in the areas of welfare and security. Now, to your question, one would have expected that the Constitution would have reigned supreme before now. Even though, like I said, like I've been saying before now, the argument has always been that Mr. Governor was still performing his constitutional duties. But ordinarily speaking, if you have to go strictly by the Constitution, by the provisions of the Constitution, particularly from sections 189 to 199, from 189 to 191 rather, power should have transmitted long before now, because the governor cannot just be away for this long. So yes, and then I think finally there's some level of sanity now. When I say sanity, I mean there's relative peace now, and then we hope that that this will remain the condition and situation in the state.
Well, there were concerns that the ability of Aiyedatiwa to govern the state in the absence of Rotimi Akeredolu is in doubt. Do you also see, or do you also have such concerns about his pedigree and his ability to direct the affairs of the state? And maybe that was one of the reasons why the governor was reluctant in transferring powers to him.
Okay. Now, speaking of his ability or capability as well, it will depend severally on which area we are talking about. If you are talking about intellect, or the fact that the man is capable intellectually, I would tell you for free that if you see Aiyedatiwa, you know that this man sounds very intelligent. But some people have argued that administratively, that he has never held a political post as big as this, and that as far as politics is concerned, that is more or less a novice. I mean, that has been the argument. And then others have also argued that others who have been against him have also argued that he lacks what we call the emotional intelligence. That is, somehow he doesn't know how to manage people, and that if he were to be good at managing people, that the crisis we had in recent times would not have generated to this level. And so, but for me, I believe that he's capable. If you ask me, I think the man is capable intellectually, but politically, he might not be as experienced as many of the politicians we have around the states. Yes, yeah, but I believe that do well. You know, I wish him all the best. I believe he do well, because if he was not competent in the first place, Governor Akeredolu would not have picked him as his running mate. So I believe he will do well.
So how significant is the meeting between acting Governor Aiyedatiwa and President Bola Tinubu and other stakeholders in resolving the political crisis in Ondo State?
Yes, thank you. I've said this here before, and I'll say it for the often time, that one must commend the president, even if you don't agree with many of his approaches and policies, but you commend his political sagacity. If he had not waded in I think the matter would have become a major crisis. It would have been a real mess. But yes, it's the meeting with the stakeholders, I think, has yielded results. And we can see now that the constitution has prevailed. So yes, politically speaking, it was a timely intervention on his part.
Finally, before I let you go, Ojumo, we see that the governor recently just had a meeting, or was, of course, in reception of the acting, the Niger Delta Development Commission commissioner. Of course, he just had a meeting with him. Now, what are the things that you're expecting Lucky Aiyedatiwa to start doing as of now? Of course, the lingering issue that has been put to bed now between having a constitutional transfer of power to him has been put to bed. So now that he's in the reins of power, what are the things I think he should be doing right now to drive the course of growth for the Ondo State, as it were, and of course the citizens of the state?
Yes, thank you very much. I think the first thing you should do, which I think he has addressed in his speech, because he gave a speech earlier today. I was going through the speech. I was not able to listen to the speech, but I read the transcript. And the first thing he should do, which he has addressed, is the fact that he should call for peace, he should sue for peace. He has called everybody and said that Ondo State, the progress of Ondo State is non-negotiable. And so, yes, he's trying to preach the gospel of unity and peace. That's the first thing he should do as a leader. And I think he has started doing that already. And then, secondly, when issues like this happen, usually it is the ordinary people on the streets of the state of Akure that suffer mostly. Like I said, government activities have been very slow in recent times. So I believe that things should start picking up now. For instance, I understand that the budgetary order for 2023 fiscal year was yet to be signed, and that has affected the implementation of so many policies in the state. So now that that constitutionally now he's now the acting governor, I think that's one of the things he should address. He should make sure that he should call for files, call all the stakeholders, the cabinet members for briefings. Maybe he should hold a cabinet and executive council meeting so that he will be briefed accordingly and then take charge. So yes, I believe that at the end of the day, the good people of Ondo State are the ones who benefit the most from this constitutional intervention.
Tawo Ojumo, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you very much for having me.